All right. Well, James, is Amaris on the call yet? Because you may need to go first because I don't see Better Way here yet.
I can jump in whenever you want.
Yeah,
Hi, Amaris. Okay, excellent. Okay, well, I think due to some limitations in terms of the time that we have together, and just as a reminder, this training is not billable to the Ryan White funds, but we are encouraging participation for a number of reasons. One being professional development, another being, improving client satisfaction and the experience that clients have within the service within our program. And essentially, we just want to be sure that all of the case managers are aware of how referral processes work within a number of different service categories that we will be reviewing over the next 4 weeks. So I'm excited about this opportunity for learning and also networking again. So I'd like to thank the presenters who will be here with us this morning. So for those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Sandra Sergi. I'm a project manager here at Behavioral Science Research. I'm also one of our trainers, and we are so excited to be doing this, and hopefully we will be doing more of these trainings. This training will be recorded and at some point will be available to you either on YouTube or through our website. So we're excited about that for those of you and for those team members that can't attend today. But additionally, I'm sure that you'll be able to share the information that you have. So the way that we're going to the way this training is designed this morning is we have 3 presenters, one from Better Way, another one from New Hope, and the last one from St. Luke's, as you know it. So each presenter will have 15 minutes to present information regarding their referral process in terms of how a client should be entering the service, what are some of the requirements, not only in terms of eligibility, but also any additional information that may not be obvious or apparent. So for those of you who are present, again, I just really want to thank you. We want to express our gratitude for your support, and we hope that you will take away some new information, which will ultimately improve the services that you provide. So without further ado, Amaris Hess is a clinical director at New Hope Corp. So I'd like to hand over the floor to you, Amaris, and you are presenting to medical case managers and peer educators in the Ryan White program here locally in Miami-Dade County. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I will stop sharing. I'll stop sharing so that you can present your PowerPoint.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Oh, Lord, let's see if I can do this. I think I got it. Maybe.
I can help if not, but I see it.
Okay, that's awesome because now I don't see it.
Oh, I just want you to, I would go to slideshow and start from the beginning.
Okay.
You see that on top there? There you go.
I see it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you guys see what I see?
We see like all of the slides. We're not seeing just one at a time. I mean, I can also
James is going to help
it. Okay.
This is teamwork at its best.
Exactly.
Okay, are we okay? Do y'all see it?
We see the slides on the left and then the main slide. I mean, I also have access.
Sandra, if you want to run it for me.
Sure, yeah, no worries. Give me one second.
Because I know.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm going to let you here. I'm going to stop sharing and let you run it for me because I know that time is of the essence. And you guys can't sit here and watch me learn something brand new.
let's see if I can do this. All right, so let me get rid of this. Get rid of that. Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay, hold on one second. Give me 1 second, please.
Tell Taylor I have to talk on this one. We got it. Yeah.
You guys see the, do you see the presentation?
I see
Yes.
it, yes.
We're
But I
good?
see all the slides.
How about now?
There we go.
Is that good?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, so Amherst, you'll just have to tell me next.
Okay, no problem.
Okay,
I
so we're
appreciate the
here.
support. Thank you so
No
much.
worries, no worries.
All right. Again, my name is Amaris Hess. I'm the clinical director at New Hope. I am going to take you really quickly through our internal continuum of care and talk to you about entrance and participation in our substance abuse residential program funded by Ryan White. If you're not familiar with New Hope, we are a 501c3 founded in 1993 by Manuel Alvarez. We're a faith-based substance abuse treatment center. We have a mission to assist individuals reentering society struggling with substance use and mental health disorders, utilizing a faith and evidence-based approach to treatment. Sandra, you want to go ahead, next slide? We currently have an array of funding partners that allow us to fulfill our mission. We are a DCF and ACA licensed facility. We currently have contracts to provide residential treatment, street outreach. We have a permanent housing program, outpatient treatment, and medication assisted treatment, among some other programs I'll show you in the next slide. And these are our licensing agencies and funding partners. This is going to be relevant in a little bit, even if you are not familiar with some of these other funders. Sandra, you want to go ahead to the next slide? So we have an ever expanding continuum of service, including street outreach, HIV intervention services, peer support services, emergency shelter, substance abuse outpatient treatment, residential treatment, recovery residence, so that's akin to sober living, and permanent housing. I'm showing you our full continuum of care because while our substance abuse residential is the only Ryan White funded program that we have at this time, we do have this continuum that are accessible to all clients. So we may have a service that your client would benefit from, even if it is not Ryan White funded. We can certainly have a conversation to see if they would benefit from one of these other programs we have. We believe in very low barrier access to care. So it's crucial for us to make sure that our clients receive the type of service and referral to the services that they need. And because of our wide array of funding, we have the ability to connect people to our internal continuum, get them the care they need, even when they don't fit perfectly into a funding category, we're most certainly willing to brainstorm that with you. Sandra, go ahead to the next slide, please. So specifically about our residential substance abuse program, there are 4 ways that most of our clients access our residential program. It's either a direct referral from you, from the medical case manager in the Provide system. It is either engagement with incarcerated individuals through SFAN's Jail InReach. We get a lot of referrals for people who are currently incarcerated. InReach connects with them in the jails, connects to the medical case manager, and arranges for a referral to New Hope for treatment. So if you have a client who's currently incarcerated and you are aware that they are going to need those treatment services, there is most certainly a way to get them the help before they are released back out onto the street. We also have 2 participating Medicaid MMA plans, Clear Health Alliance and Simply, which we are contracted with to provide residential services for your clients who may be enrolled in one of these Medicaid specialty plans and need this service. These Medicaid plans typically cover a shorter length of stay, somewhere between 14 and 30 days. And your client is able to come and receive treatment through their Medicaid plan if they're insured with Clear Health Alliance or Simply. And then if they need continued care after the denial from that Medicaid provider, we are then able to access the Ryan White services for them. So if you find a client and you kind of hit that stop gate because they are enrolled in a Medicaid plan, we may be able to help get them access to treatment and step them down with that safety net of the Ryan White funding of last resort if they need more time than that Medicaid plan allows. The 4th way that people may get engaged with New Hope and come to residential treatment is from engagement with our specialized street outreach programs. These are programs funded by the Homeless Trust, where we have staff who go into homeless encampments, engage people on the street. If the individual discloses their status, requests treatment, we will help them make a determination of which funding are available to them. Maybe they have an ACA plan or Medicaid plan that they weren't aware of. Maybe they are already linked to Ryan White. And in a couple of cases, we have engaged with people who have been completely out of care, and we've been able to link them to medical case management, and that case manager has helped us get that person referred to receive residential treatment. Below is our criteria to enter substance abuse residential treatment. First and foremost, at some point in the referral process, we are going to need an approved in-network referral in Provide. So this might not necessarily be the very first thing that happens, but somewhere between the initial encounter and that first admission day into treatment, we're going to need that in-network referral from you. And we will reach out to you if it's being initiated or on our end. We're happy to reach out to you. If it's being initiated on your end, our contact information is at the end of this presentation, and we encourage you to reach out to us. We do ask that if your client is on any current medication, that they bring that list with them. And if they have at least 3 days of the medication, to tide them over until they can see a prescriber here. We try to keep the lowest barriers to accessing service, so we don't require a 30-day prescription to be filled. We understand that particularly people who may be on the street, who may be leaving incarceration, who may have other life circumstances that have interfered with their ability to keep all their medications on hand, they might not have it. If they have 3 days, that's wonderful, but certainly that's the medication list is really important for us to be able to continue whatever care they were receiving from their primary care doctor or outpatient psychiatry. We do require a screening call with our admission staff. This screening call is basically like a light program orientation, what to expect at admission, what to expect when they arrive at the program, what the basic program rules are, and address any concerns that the client may have, questions they may have about the program, what they can bring, what they need to have, the types of items we might provide for them. So we do that screening call to give them a brief orientation and answer any questions that they have or you guys might have while you're sitting with your clients. We do ask for any clinical documentation that you may have from the last 30 days. If your client has not been in a hospital, in a CSU, or seen by their primary care doctor in the last 30 days, that's okay. If there are any kind of doctor notes, discharge paper, lab work that are available, we would ask that you share that with us in order to bridge the gap in care and make sure that we're picking up where the outpatient providers or the hospital providers left off. Great paperwork for us to have ahead of time. Like I said, any kind of discharge paperwork from a hospitalization, a physical exam if you have it, a TB test, a PPD, or a chest x-ray. And if you have current lab work with a viral load, that's also much appreciated. But again, these aren't musts. These are things that help us bridge any gaps in care. But these are certainly things that we can discuss and work out on that initial phone inquiry or email inquiry, trying to get your client into treatment. And clients, we encourage continued communication with a client's medical case manager from the day of admission moving forward. Our clients cannot have their cell phones on them in-house at any point during treatment. They do have access to their own cell phones when they leave the building at the 45-day mark in treatment. So prior to that 45-day mark, we're going to ask that you reach out via the residential care team to our main phone number that's listed here on the screen, and you'll see it again on the last slide. Sandra, you can go ahead to the next. All right, and here's just a little snapshot of the front door of our residential facility. Our program's estimated length of stay is 90 days. That includes our short stayers who may be there for a week or two, and our long stayers that may stay 6 months or more. Our program includes a full continuum of care, including clinical assessment, individualized treatment planning, individual and group therapy, case management, peer support, medication management, on-site medical and psychiatric care. We have an in-house physician as well as an in-house psychiatric nurse practitioner. We also have optional faith-based activities, on-site and off-site 12-step meetings, and different recreation and wellness activities that are offered on an as-needed or optional basis for our clients. And Sandra, go ahead to the next slide, please. Discharge planning. So discharge planning begins at admission. Of the vast majority of the people who we receive are coming to us homeless or unstably housed and don't have sufficient natural support systems in the community, may not have sufficient housing, may not have employment, may not have sufficient income And these are hallmark areas that we work on in case management service plans and clinical treatment plans to ensure that our clients are leaving us with everything they need to re-enter the community safe and stable and, you know, ready to take ownership of their recovery process on their own. We will continue to coordinate with medical case management through the episode of care to include you in treatment planning and discharge planning so that you can essentially be an offsite part of our care team and support your client, because we know that the relationship that you have with them is going to extend far beyond our interactions with them. So we really do want you as kind of an offsite part of our treatment team. We do have sober living recovery residents as part of New Hope's continuum of care. We have scattered site single family homes that are monitored by staff and have rental rates that are considerably lower than what is out there in the market right now. And we do encourage step down to sober living for people who are coming to us homeless, unstably housed, or maybe going back to a home environment that's not necessarily conducive to their recovery. We work very hard to ensure linkage to medical and mental health providers for outpatient care. So any care that's established while they're in residential treatment continues on after they've stepped down to outpatient. And we continue to offer peer support, outpatient counseling, and wraparound service for our people once they've stepped down from residential. Like I said, to give them the best opportunity to reintegrate into the community and really be ready to take ownership of their own recovery process. And Sandra, next slide for us. And here's our contact information. Your first stop, you're referring a client to residential treatment at New Hope, is our admissions director, Elizabeth De Armas. She can't be on the call with us today. She had a prior engagement, but here listed on the slide are her email, her phone extension, and an email referrals at newhopecorp.org, which will go to the direct care leadership team, which includes Elizabeth, myself, and our residential program director, Rachel Wind. And that's probably the quickest way to get a response if you have a client to refer to us for treatment. Our treatment center is open 24 hours a day, staffed 7 days a week. If you have a question, if you have a concern, if you need to get in contact with your client, you can always call our main number and someone will be there 24 hours a day to assist you and help you make whichever connection you might need. Our administration and outpatient building is right down the road from our residential facility. Our office hours are 9 to 6 on weekends. And at the bottom of the page there is our website. You can go on, see pictures of the facility, learn a little bit more about our team, and there is a contact us page on there as well if you want to give that information to your clients and they can reach out to us directly for any questions they may have. Sandra, that is my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions if we have time.
Does anybody have a question they'd like to ask Amaris? Amaris, you also had a comment that you mentioned to me. If you want to mention that now, that would be ideal.
Yes, thank you. I did not write it in my little notes here, but thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome.
Just as a point of clarification, what we have happen sometimes is we will have a client already enrolled in residential treatment, funded through Ryan White, and they will, in some cases, be approaching the end of their preset 180 days. And at times we do get additional referrals for extended stay. And just as a note, we are more often than not unable to accept an additional referral because most of the time by the point that someone has been in treatment for 2, 3, 4 months, they're no longer meeting clinical justification for a new referral. So I know we've seen about 3 or 4 of these in the last couple of months. And so I just wanted to kind of make that clarification that once we have somebody already in treatment, we cannot accept another referral to extend their time beyond the 180 because we don't have the clinical justification for it. In the event that we did, that's something I think that we would staff with the Ryan White Program Administration, but just as a common theme, once somebody is enrolled in treatment with us, unless they've left and need a completely separate episode of care, we're not able to extend beyond the 180 while that person is still enrolled with us. Thank you, Sandra, for reminding me of that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So if there are no other questions.
I have a
actually
question.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, we chimed in at the same time. Go ahead with your question.
Okay,
No,
my
wait.
name is this is Mara from Espen. They allowed the people that are in the residential treatment, are they allowed to come to the appointments or they see your doctors, your medical provider there? If they
Sure.
have dental, rehab, let's say chemotherapy, I'm just throwing things out.
Sure, great question. So upon admission, every client is going to be seen for a physical and lab work by our medical director, and they will see our in-house psychiatric nurse practitioner. If they have other medical appointments that are set that they need to attend outside of basic primary care and psychiatric medication monitoring, I think one thing you mentioned is chemotherapy. That's certainly something that we do not have in-house. If they have other appointments created by the medical case manager, we just need to know about it and we put it onto the client schedule and have them go out for any specialty care that they need that we don't provide as part of the residential program.
Thank you.
I also have a question. It's Alvin from Espen. To what extent your psychiatric services goes? Because not all diagnosis of mental health can be dealt with outside.
Like groups as well.
Okay.
So
Thank
when we have a client who comes in-house, they're going to receive a psychiatric evaluation. They will receive a diagnosis if applicable, and they will be prescribed a medication regimen. If they have not been on medication before, it would be a new regimen. If they have had an outpatient provider and they're coming in with that information from that outpatient provider and that regimen is working for them, we're going to keep them on that same regimen. We are able to prescribe most mental health medications. There are a couple specialty situations that we might not deal with in-house, particularly if there are certain long-acting injectables that perhaps we don't prescribe in-house, or if there are controlled substances that were prescribed by an outpatient provider, we may just need to consult with them before making the determination if we're going to continue on with that medication or not. But for the most part, psychiatric service is provided in-house as part of the residential program.
The medication is given by ADAP, by who? Who is the provider of the medication? Because the case manager will have to be mediating in that use of medication or no?
So you're asking about the pharmacy service, correct?
Yes, correct. Because as long as they are funded to be there, I suppose that they are going to continue receiving the medication from whatever source that was providing it before entering the program, no?
Correct. So one of our psychiatrists is able to prescribe directly to ADAP. So the pharmacy service will continue through ADAP in a situation where we have somebody who is receiving substance abuse residential treatment through Ryan White. Maybe they've exhausted Medicaid or ACA plan funding, but they still have a pharmacy benefit through their Medicaid or ACA plan, then they would continue to go to whichever retail pharmacy their plan is associated with.
I have one more question.
We have a queue. We have Carlos Gutierrez who had a question, then Vanessa Mills, and then if you want to raise your hand, I can see you in the queue. So, and we just have to be mindful of our time. But Carlos, you have a question? Yeah.
I just wanted to
We
You're
have
muted,
somebody
sir.
that's not muted. We have some other people that are not muted. Okay, I'm sorry, Carlos. We can't hear you very well.
no. Yeah,
Oh, better.
Amari, thank you so much for talking, and thank you so much for your services and helping us out with many patients. I just wanted to know because I heard you talking about the outpatient part. I want to know if for clients that are Ryan White, there's an ability for us to refer to those outpatients because sometimes when I'm screening a patient and they get scared of doing residential, they say, "Oh, is there outpatient?" And I would like to know that. And also, if you have another facility, as I know that you have a drop-in center at the in South Miami, that you also do outpatient in there, I would like to know that too.
Sure. So at this time, we are not funded through Ryan White for outpatient counseling. Hopefully that's something that we have in the future. Today, not so much. We do have additional locations. We have a mental health drop-in center in Homestead funded by DCF. And then we do have a recovery community organization in South Miami across from Larkin Hospital, also funded by DCF. Both of those locations have outpatient peer support. So there is peer support service, individual peer support, and group peer support that's available at both of those locations. Those programs are funded by DCF, to my knowledge. Ryan White does not have something that's a direct match for that, and your clients would most certainly be eligible to participate in those services if they would like to.
Thank you so much.
Vanessa, you have a question, and then Mara, and then I think we'll need to move on after your question, Mara.
Okay, my question is real quick to Amaris.
Sure.
Thank you for sharing the information. My first question is, are you still requiring clients who have dreadlocks to cut their hair? And my second question is about religion and art. Do you require them to go to church?
Where do I do that?
Great questions. Thank you, Vanessa. All of our faith-based programming is optional. We do have church service, Bible study, and Celebrate Recovery.
What does it look like now?
Available to the clients, but all of this is optional and voluntary, and nobody has to participate in these services. If they choose to decline, they are given a different either group or recovery assignment or rec activity to participate in during that time if that is not part of their individual treatment plan. In response to the haircut question, we do have a revised dress code. I can most certainly share that. Sandra, I don't know if I'm able to share information on the back end after this program, but I can certainly send the information to Sandra in order for her to disseminate it to you all. I'm wishing that I had put it into the presentation, but we do have a revised dress code and hygiene requirement. Whether or not someone is asked to cut their hair is based on that dress code and hygiene requirement. It is not mandatory for entrance, but we do have a lot of people living in close quarters, and we need to comply with the hygiene concerns. But not necessarily do people have to cut their hair if they come into treatment.
So specifically, I'm asking about dreadlocks. And so that's a very cultural thing. And I actually had a client who could not enter into New Hope because of their dreadlocks. And I was concerned whether or not you guys updated that policy or are able to make some kind of special accommodation to address people's crowns. By the way, your hair's pretty, Natalie.
Yes, ma'am. Since that situation, we worked with the Ryan White program administrators at the county to kind of discuss and go over dress code requirements. We do have a new policy, and that is what I'm going to have Sandra share with you. But I think that the short version is no, people with dreadlocks are not going to be asked to remove them before coming into treatment.
That's awesome.
Mara, you have a question, and then we need to move on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome,
regarding the
Vanessa.
phone, because you said that once they enter, the phone are taken away. Is it for the duration of the program, the duration of the 45 days, or they are allowed any phone calls to the family, the children during the stay?
Yes, great question. So they are not able to carry their cell phone on their person for the first 45 days. The phones are in the front office in locked cubbies, and they are allowed access to the phone with the accompaniment of their therapist or case manager, certainly to call family, to make appointments. I know I don't remember any phone numbers anymore, so I can't expect anybody else to. So there is access to the phone at any point with staff supervision. Once they've hit that 45-day mark, they're able to carry their phones on them to any appointments and anytime they might leave the building.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Amris. I appreciate it. It was very informative, and certainly whatever information you'd like to share with me, we'll post it on our website, and we will also, I'll make sure I distribute that to everybody. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
I appreciate your participation. Next, we have Better Way, who is going to also update us on their services. So Better Way, if you are on the call, feel free to start your presentation and introduce yourself as well. We have Better Way here. Interesting. I just got an email from her.
Can you guys hear me?
I can now.
Okay, sorry, I had to switch microphones.
No worries.
Hi everyone, my name is Ava. I am the medical coordinator here at Better Way of Miami. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. If you guys want to just bear with me for a second. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes?
Mhm.
I'm sorry, was that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So once again, my name is Ava, and I'm gonna be speaking on Better Way of Miami. So basically, we are a rehabilitation center for substance abuse and mental health. We are located down in Wynwood. We are proud partner of the Ryan White program, Part A. We offer a comprehensive program featuring recovery and mental health focused groups throughout the day to support the journey. We offer groups like anger management, conflict resolution, yoga, art therapy, even high intensity workout groups just to, you know, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but we'll at least have it. We foster individualized counselor relationships, ensuring that each client's unique needs and journey are fully understood and encouraged. We have about 7 counselors. Every counselor has normally 10 to 15 clients on their caseload. Just keeping those numbers small, they're able to like further their professional relationship with their counselor and establish that rapport that fosters just a lot of trust and support that in any way that they need. We also support clients' reintegration into society when they're ready, progressing at a pace that feels right for each individual. So similar to our wonderful New Hope presentation before, we do have milestones. I believe they're not allowed to have their phone for the first 30 days. They're not allowed to go out of the building unless for medical emergency or legal obligations for the first 30 days. After that, they're accompanied by a strength, and that's someone who's been here longer than 60. So we really do encourage our clients to make those friendships and also build those relationships amongst themselves as well. And we do have those milestones, and as it nears towards the end of their journey, we allow them to go out looking for jobs, interviews, etc., whatever it may be. So yeah, normally individuals stay with us. It could be 1 month, it could be up to 6 months. We know with the Ryan White, they have 180 days. So that's what we go off specifically for the Ryan White clients. Like I said, we're a proud partner of the Miami-Dade HIV and AIDS Partnership, working through the Ryan White Program Part A to support individuals affected by HIV and AIDS in our community. Eligibility, obviously they must be HIV positive. We've gotten people come to us and they're like, I think I have HIV. And I'm like, well, there's a process we have to go through just to make sure you're eligible. And that's why we're so thankful to have our community partners and all you case managers as well, because we wouldn't have this process without you guys. For us, they must be uninsured. We don't accept anyone trying to be in the Ryan White program with Medicaid, Medicare. We are transparent about that, about the insurance thing. And lastly, they must be active in Provide. That's why, like, when we've had instances where people just come up to us and they're not in the Provide system, we do like reiterate that there is a process to follow and so on and so forth. So to speak on that process, the first step, the individual is evaluated by their care provider or case management team through an initial screening. So that's when you guys meet or speak with the client and you guys gather all those important documents and you guys see like, I don't know, like you see lab work to confirm HIV positive. And that's when a notice of eligibility is issued. Once that happens, you guys, case managers, you guys submit a referral to us on the Provide system. We check it daily. I personally check it every single day. So whenever it's sent in, referrals won't go unaddressed for longer than a day or two, unless it's the weekend, of course. But we are on top of it to make sure referrals are addressed in a timely manner, because we know that someone could really be in need of services. So we are on top of that. And then, of course, we'll either approve or decline it. We rarely decline. If anything, in instances where we have declined, they might have been a previous client here with behavioral problems or other behavioral related issues, violence related issues, anything like that. We are very strict on. We do not play with that. And then the fourth and last step is, once that referral is approved, our admissions coordinator, whom I'll give you her contact information at the end of this presentation, she contacts either the individual or their case manager to schedule an admission date and to just get that intake started. Service limitations and special considerations. We unfortunately cannot accommodate individuals requiring full in-house nursing care. We do not have an elevator, unfortunately, so that does put some restrictions on accessibility for us, unfortunately. And then also, as mentioned in the previous slide, we cannot offer services to those who have been previously discharged from Better Way of Miami due to behavioral concerns or incidents of violence. Lastly, these are just 4 important contacts to just take note of if you would like. When it comes to getting in contact with us in terms of a possible referral, you can either contact me. This is, I'm the administrative medical coordinator, or also Vernisha. She is our admissions coordinator. She's very hands-on with some of you case managers. Some of you guys might know her. The name may be familiar. But her and I work very closely to ensure that as soon as a referral comes in, they're eligible and we can get them in like this. Daniel Schmolz is our COO, and then Rita Quintero is our clinical director. She's wonderful. She takes care of, oversees most everything at the facility. She's here a lot. She's very hands-on. And she also is great at building a one-on-one rapport with Ryan White clients, because sometimes it is just important to just have that one-on-one relationship and just an understanding of, like, you know, we just want what's best for you, and to understand that we do have that common ground. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can take some questions now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Are there any questions?
Mara?
I have
Mara,
a
do you still have a
question.
question? Okay, great.
Do you guys require, just like New Hope, the medical record and everything? And can we add those? And it's for New Hope as well. Can we add as an attachment the required documentation, like medication list and everything, to the referral?
That would obviously be best case scenario, would be to have their medication list. We have a lot of clients who come in with nothing at all, and it's through different funding sources, Department of Corrections, DCF, and, you know, we do our best to try to work with them to get them the care they need as soon as possible. Very similar to New Hope, we only offer psychiatric services here, and then all things physical health, medical, we work with Jackson, Camillus, Borinquen, our community partners, basically. So it is preferred they come in with any medical documentation or medication lists. If not, we can work with them.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, I had a question. Good morning. Do you still have transitional housing?
No, unfortunately, we do not. Yes, Samantha?
You're on mute, Samantha. You're muted.
I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. We
Good morning.
recently had a client to go through your agency in which I applaud you guys. You did a really good job with our client. However, upon his discharge, he was able to retrieve his employment back and everything, but he did have an issue with housing. So, to piggyback off of the last person who just asked the question, do you think that you guys will be able to um, regain that access for transitional housing, or be able to help the clients be more stable once they've completed your program?
Yeah, as much as we'd love to have more focus on the housing issue, um, the extent of it currently would be the counselors one-on-one. As they're preparing for discharge, they inquire about what their situation is for after treatment, and they do assist when applicable for finding possible housing options for the individuals, but we don't have a official protocol for any transitional housing or a set um, a set agency or location that we work with in regards to that. But the counselors, to the best of their extent, try to coordinate that they do have somewhere safe to go after this. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate Better Way and the work that you do, and thanks so much for your participation. Okay, so if there are no other questions, you're welcome. I know we're running a little over, but this is the first training, and we're in service, so let's just try to be a little flexible until we can tweak it and perfect it for next week. But until then, St. Luke's, if you are on the call with us, if you wouldn't mind stop sharing, that would be great. St. Luke's, are you
Yes,
with
we're
us?
here.
Sandra?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Is it
Hi,
Sandra or
how are you?
Tanya? Hi. Welcome. Well, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. And you are welcome to share your screen whenever you're ready to start.
Okay, are you just seeing the presenter's view or are you seeing everything?
I see the slide, the
Okay, perfect.
presenter's view. It's perfect. No, it looks perfect.
Okay, so my name is Sandra Valdez and I am the Senior Director for Catholic Charities Behavioral Health Services. We also have Tanya George on the meeting, and she's the program coordinator. And she is the one that supervises the intake process. Okay. So a little bit about there we go. Catholic Charities St. Luke Center. So St. Luke Center started in the late 1960s. It was the first methadone clinic in Miami. We are currently in Little Haiti, and we've been at this building since the 90s, I think 91 or 92. We are COA accredited for mental health and substance use and residential treatment. We also have a DCF license for 40 beds, outpatient services, case management, and intervention. And we're also licensed by ACA for 12 mental health residential treatment beds. And that is a picture of our building. So under DCF, we are licensed for 40 beds. 8 of those beds are female beds and 32 beds are male beds. We are a 2-story building. So our male beds are on the 2nd floor and then our 8 female beds are on the first floor. We are a smaller residential program. And I think unique to our program is that our rooms are generally 2 to 3 beds. I think we have a few rooms that have 4 beds, but they are all bottom bunks. We don't have bunk beds. So and each room has its own full bathroom. Okay, so although it's shared, we're able to kind of mitigate some of the issues that may arise from having multiple people in a room. So we provide residential services. Our clients stay anywhere from 2 to 6 months, depending on their services, their diagnosis, severity of their disorder. We provide individual counseling, group counseling. We have a very structured schedule in regards to our group counseling. We do provide primary medical services. We do provide in-house psychiatric services, medication management, medication assisted treatment, case management. Obviously, we do drug screens at the facility, and we do discharge and aftercare planning. We provide outpatient services, but we are not a provider under the Ryan White Part A. I believe it's Berwyn Care Resource and Empower You that are the providers for outpatient services. We are a subcontract of Miami Beach Community Health Center, so we are not a direct Ryan White provider. And I think you'll understand why that's kind of a concern when you start looking at our admission process. Our admission process is a little different because of that. So in order to be eligible for services, we provide services for individuals who are 18 and over. They must meet criteria for residential treatment, able to manage all their ADLs independently. This is more of a concern in regards to the male beds because we are a 2-story building. They have to be able to manage to go up and down the stairs independently. They have to be medically stable. They have to be able to engage in treatment, follow program rules, and understand the need for services. We request 30 days of medication. However, we understand that that's not always possible. So we do have our medical director is at the facility and able to like fill those medications, and we're able to fill them. For individuals who have appointments within those first 30-day periods, we will have them go to the appointment. We'll probably have them supervised with a staff to make sure they go come back and forth from those appointments. But we do consider the importance of these appointments, and we want to make sure that they adhere to them. So as long as the case manager lets Tanya know about the appointments, we will coordinate to make sure that they meet those appointments. So we would like to have a negative TB test. And the only real concern that would probably delay admission is if they are diabetic. So if they are diabetic, we must have their sliding scale and medication. So this is something that we cannot manage in-house. You know, that would require a specialist. So this is the only time when we would have a concern.
Sandra, what is a sliding scale?
So usually, like if they're insulin dependent, there's usually going to be like some instruction in regards to like if their sugar, what do you call it? When they test for their sugar, depending on the level, is how much insulin they're supposed to take. We want to make sure that they have all of that. Maybe I should clarify. It's mostly for insulin dependent. If they're just on like metformin or something, that can, obviously be easily managed. But a sliding scale would definitely be helpful, especially for those who have a long history of diabetes, because sometimes their normal sugar level can be like very high. So we want to be able to make sure that we have as much information that we can so that they're safe at the program and they have their adequate medication.
Interesting.
Okay, so Tanya will discuss the admission process.
Okay, hi, good afternoon, everyone. So normally what most case managers do is that they'll contact me, call the facility, usually the front desk. So our phone number is there, 305-795-0077. Extension 5 is my extension, my direct extension, or extension 0 for the front desk. Or some individuals have emailed me and they'll let me know that they have a client that needs substance abuse treatment and what necessary steps do they need to take. Okay, so we always request first the referrals that they need to request with Jose Pepe at the Miami-Dade Community Health Center. We'll ask for the authorization of how many STARS days they have for substance abuse treatment. Okay, we don't have access to that system, so that's the first step I would initially request is the authorization. And I will ask if they've been recently at another residential treatment program and for how long they were there. Because it's important that we, sometimes I receive referrals where like the authorization is not up to date. They'll say that it has 180 days, but they were recently at another program for a month. Okay. So it's always important that the case managers let me know if they were recently at another program or for how long. Now, most of our clients under Brian White, initially, they generally do stay for the 6 months if they have 180 days. Okay. Some, if they still need more continued care, more work in their recovery goals, we can sometimes put them under the Thriving Minds bed. So if they've completed, let's say they only had 60 days of residential treatment authorization, and obviously for a lot of people, 60 days is not enough, I'll contact Thriving Minds and, they will assist to try to put them under the Thriving Minds bed for whatever remainder time they need in our residential treatment program. So that's why it's always important that we're aware of how many days they have in their authorization. Once I receive the authorization, I will speak with the individual to ask them a few questions for the pre-screen. I'll ask them questions about their psychiatric care, legal issues, if any, medical issues, and like Sandra mentioned before, if they have diabetes, it's important, insulin dependent, it's important that they come with those medications, specifically the sliding scale. Okay. And the PPD test, if it's been a while that they've had a PPD test, we can do it on site as well. Because we know that a lot of individuals are unhoused and we don't want to really delay the admission process. We want to try to get them in. So as Sandra mentioned before, we are funded to have 8 female beds and 40 beds in total, I believe. So we do have a small group of women. We are a co-ed facility, so we do have a small portion of women. The majority are men. We also have accepted transgender females and transgender males in our facility. And then once I complete the pre-screen with the individual and they meet criteria for our program, then we'll go ahead and schedule an admission date. I would obviously send an email or contact the case manager that reached out to me and let them know like what else that we're requesting. So obviously 30 days worth of their medication. And if there's no TB test, that's fine. We can do it on site as well. I think that's it. Any questions?
Are there any questions? I will say that email is the best way to coordinate admission. And definitely to reach out to ensure that we have beds available. Especially if you're looking for a female bed, because we only have a certain number of beds. Sometimes we have a lot of females and sometimes we don't have any. So even though you may call us and we don't have a bed available at that time, that doesn't mean that that may not change within a week or so. You know, it's constantly changing here at the program. People come in, people leave. So, you know, please don't feel like, you know, we didn't have a bed and you need to try to find something else. You could try and contact us the next week if nothing else becomes available, and we can let you know, you know, possibly how long it may be before a bed is available.
I have a question. Do you guys have a waiting list system? Let's say, for instance, you just mentioned that we called you and you do not have any bed today. But do you take the name of the client, the name of the case manager, and contact us later, or no? Or do we
Of
have to
course.
keep contacting
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, if
Yes.
you email us and you let us know that you haven't found like another option, we'll definitely reach out to you when we have a bed available. And when we have beds available, if I mean, you can go ahead and provide Tanya your information. She'll send out an email blast letting the case managers who have talked to her in the past that she has a beds available if there's anybody that is in need of treatment.
And for our providers on the call, you can also generally email Carla or email myself, and I can send out a blast email to all the case managers. And what I'm thinking now is for our
Okay.
subrecipient providers on the call, what I'll do is I will share with you the contact list of all of our case managers and peers so that you have a comprehensive list in case you have a client who knows the name of his or her case manager but may not have a phone number for that particular individual. The contact list that I send you will have the name, the title, the agency, the location, the phone number, the email, even work cell phone numbers. So I'll make sure that you guys get that resource.
Okay, great. That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do we have any final questions before we end the call today? Okay, well, I'd like to thank St. Luke's, Better Way, and New Hope for participating in today's in-service. We believe that as we move forward with these types of in-services, it will really enhance not only knowledge, but again, the client experience. So thank you so much for participating. We appreciate the engagement, and I think as we move forward, kind of getting to see each other again and networking again, I think can only be something positive moving forward. So again, thank you. And again, as a reminder, at this moment, the county has decided that these in-service sessions, so to speak, because they are not mandatory and because the effort is to really enhance information and resources for you versus the mandatory type trainings that we have. At this moment, these are not billable. And moving forward, we'll try to tweak the trainings or the in-sessions a little bit better so that we end directly or exactly as we scheduled. But you live and learn. So thank you so much for your participation. I will be sending each of your supervisors on the call a list of the attendees because I think there may be something going on with my chat, so you may not have been able to enter your name. But want to be sure that if in the future you need to let the county know who was present, you'll at least have that comprehensive list and we won't miss anybody. Okay, so I'll be reaching out to each of you just to be sure that you guys are all accounted for on today's in session. So once again, thank you so much, everybody, for your participation. It was great to see everybody. If for those of you who will be back next week, I look forward to seeing you then. So have a great day,
Thank you,
everybody.
bye.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
participation.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Sandra.
Sandra.
Thank you.
Good to see
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Good to see you. Bye.